Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new, you're welcome. My name is Phone, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified each and every time I upload new tutorials on my channel. If you're a member, you're welcome back. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you on how to make this halter neck dress. So if you want to know how I do this, keep on watching. This is the material I'm going to be using. It's an African print, so I'm using just 1 yard of this, okay, because I'm making a pencil dress for size small. First thing I did was to go ahead to draw a straight line. That straight line is my guideline. So now as well my soldier line, I will take my soldier measurement and divide it by 2. So my soldier measurement is 14. 14 divided by 2 will give me 7. Then from that 7, I will minus half inch from there because we are working on a sleeveless dress, okay? Altogether is 6. I will mark it up. After marking it up, I'll go down by 1 inch for the soldier's line. And now what I will do is to go ahead from that 1 inch I went down, I'll put my armhole deep, which is 7.5. Then the 6.5 that we use on this soldier line, we're going to mark it here as well. Then later on, we will connect it with the straight line like this as well. After connecting it, as you can see, the next thing I will do is go ahead to take put my neck deep and my neck width of 3 by 3 inch. Then now I'll go ahead to connect it up. Then I'm going to go ahead to connect my soldier's line as well. Once I'm done connecting my soldier's line, the next thing I will do is to go ahead to measure from my soldier to my bust point line, which is 10.5, from my soldier to my half length, which is 15.5, and from my soldier to my hip deep line, I will just count 8 inch from my waistline, all right, and mark it up. Then I'll go ahead to connect those points with the straight line. Once I'm done connecting with a straight line, I'll come here on my chest line. I'm going to put 1/4 of my bust measurement. I'll take around my bust, which is 34. 34 divided by 4 will give me 8.5. Then I'll mark it. Then I'll add my allowance as well. Then I'll come here on my waistline, take around my waist, which is 28. 28 divided by 4 will give me 7. Then I will add 1 inch for the allowance. And here I will come on my hip deep line. I'll take around my hip, which is 36. 36 divided by 4 will give me 9 inch. Then I'll go ahead and mark it, and as well I'm going to add 1 inch for the allowance. Then I'll go ahead now to connect those points together. Once I'm done connecting it, I pull it up there to connect the length. I'm going in with a length of 33 inch. Then I added 1 inch for the hemming. So we'll need to measure whatever we have on the hip deep line and minus 1 inch from it, okay? Because I said I'm working on a pencil dress, not 2 pencil, because if it was 2 pencil, you're going to go in with 1.5. And here on this line, I'm going to put my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So mine is 8. 8 divided by 2 will give me 4. I'll go ahead to mark it up. Then I connect it with a straight line. Once I'm done connecting it, I'll come here on my hip deep line. I'm going to go up by 2 inch and mark. Then for my bust point line, I will go down by 1 inch and mark. Then here I'm going to be creating my dark of ½ inch inward and ½ inch outward. Then I'll go ahead to connect it like so. Once I'm done connecting the dark, the next thing I need to do is to connect these points like this, okay? I'll be using my ruler. This is the French curve or French curve and a ruler as well. I'm just going to place it up and connect it all the way like this, okay? So you can see. Then once I'm done connecting it, I'll go ahead to add that's ½ inch for the hemming of the armhole like this. Just about ½ inch. It's not even up to ½ inch. I just added it a little bit. Then I'll go ahead to cut that up. Once I'm done cutting it up, what I did was to go ahead and fold again my fabric into two right side facing each other. Then at this back part, what I did was to leave about 1 inch for the zipper allowance, okay? 1 inch, and I drew a straight line. That straight line, I take the front piece and I place it from where that straight lines start backward. All right, so now for the I'll just go ahead to connect it so we'll be able to create the neck dip for the back. I'll go down by 1 inch and I'm going to connect it up, and then we'll go ahead now to cut it up. Everything here is same except of the zipper allowance, so I'm just creating that's the nipple to nipple measurement and divided by 2 like we did for the front, which was 4. Then I went ahead to create it a line. I created my dark of 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, and we're going to follow the same step like we did for the front. All right, so you can choose here on the chest line to go down by 1 inch, or you just connect it all the way to the chest line. All right, so once I'm done connecting everything up, I went ahead to separate up the back. So now I'll go ahead now to pin up my dark, so we'll take it to the machine and stitch. I'll take it to the machine. I'm going to stitch the dark on both the back and the front. So I'm done like stitching the dark for both the front and the back, and then I'll go ahead to press it up. As you can see, I haven't pressed it up yet, but I'll go ahead to do so. Now the next thing we'll do now is to be joining the side seams together. I will place the right side together and pin it up. After pinning, we'll take it to the machine and stitch 1 inch away because I added 1 inch for the allowance. So I went ahead and stitched, then I trim it up. I also did the same thing here. Now I went ahead to fold about 1/2 inch in what I press it with the iron. I fold again 1/2 inch and I press. Now I'll go ahead now to stitch that up. Do the same thing to this other side. Once we're done stitching it up, we'll go ahead now to create where our zipper is going to stop from. So you just kind of go ahead first of all and pin it up to hold the two pieces together. That's the right side facing each other. All right, then now I'll just take my zip. After pinning it up, I'll take my zip and place it on top and measure where I want my zip to end and mark it up. I'm placing up my zip like this. Then I'll go ahead now to mark where I want my zip to end. Then I put a pin there or mark it up. I'll put a pin. So I want mine to end right on my waistline, all right? Or even 1 inch from my waistline. I mark it up. I'm going to stitch all the way to that 1 inch that I went off from the waistline. Once I'm done stitching, this is what it looked like, and I also went ahead to press it flat, right? We are almost done. Now, next thing we'll go ahead to do now is to go ahead to measure around our neck. I measure around my neck was 18, then I added 2 inch for this allowance. Then I just folded my fabric in right side facing each other. And now next thing we're going to do is to take that 20 inch and divide it by 2, which is 10 inch. Then I'll go ahead to mark it up. Mark it up. Then I'll go ahead now to connect with a straight line. The later on I discovered that I instead mark but 10 and a half inch instead of 10 inch, so I went back to measure back that 10-inch and I mark. I'm not adding any allowance because I already added it. All right. Now, after doing so, the next thing I will do now is to go ahead and measure the center. That's 10 divided by 2 will give me 5 and mark it up. All right. Now, we will come here like this. We'll go up by 1 inch. Then we are going to connect from that center that we mark, that center of 5 inch, and we'll connect it all the way to that 1 inch that we went up. All right. Now from there, what I will do is I want this band to be 1.5, but I'm going to add ½ inch for the sewing allowance. Altogether is 2. I will just follow up like this and keep on marking it up all the way to the other side. Then after marking it up, I'll go ahead to connect it up like this. After connecting, we'll go ahead now to cut it. So now what I did was to go ahead, cut it, then I folded ½ inch inward. All right. I folded that ½ inch inward. I'm going to be joining it up, pin it up, and I'll go ahead to stitch. After stitching, this is what it looked like. As you can see, I left ½ inch at this downer part. This ½ inch will be joining it for at the inside of the dress. That's the wrong side. I'm going to be placing this ½ inch like this. We'll go ahead to join, and then the other one will flip it to the front and stitch. Then I'll go ahead now to pin it up. Sorry, I was a bit far away from the camera, but just follow everything up and pin. Now, and go ahead. After pinning, we'll go ahead to stitch ½ inch away. Now that I'm done stitching, what I will do now is to come here like this. I'm just going to take this other piece and cover it up from the front of the dress. I pin it, then later on we'll take it to the machine and stitch it up. That's to cover up the raw edge that we have, right? Now, once I'm done stitching, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead to install my zipper. I will just place my zipper on top and mark where I want my zipper to end. Then I'll go ahead to pin up my zip to my dress, and I'm going to stitch. All right. So now I'll be installing the zipper to it. What I want to do is to come here at this top part. As you can see, sorry, the zipper is dark, and I will just place it right close here and pull the edge of the zipper and place it right at the top part and pin it up. Okay, I'll continue pinning till I get to that where I wanted the zipper to stop. I'll go ahead to, after pinning, I'll go ahead now to stitch it up, right? Once I'm done stitching, this is what it looks like, so you can see. All right. Now, I'll go ahead now to hem the downer part of the dress. That's just to fold ½ inch and ½ inch, and I'll hem it all the way around, and we are done with this project. So I'll put it on to show you what it looked like on me. So this is the dress. This is what it looked like. So you can see it really covered it well. That's what I wanted. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you love this project. If you do not forget to give me a thumbs up, like, comment, and share. See you on my next project. Bye bye.